Real Life with Adam and Winnie, update after so long, take 1.
Yeah. I'm really wanted to make a video because my daughter was like, please vlog, and we've been really bad at it because life has just gotten in the way, and I guess we haven't wanted to share. And I'm in a moment of just such gratitude right now. I wanted, before we vlog anything, to just say, like, sometimes life really can kick your ass. I can't cuss, can kick your butt. And you can be going through some really hard times, but if you can just remember, even if you have to cry it and scream it out, to just start at the very bottom and say, I am so grateful I have a job. And you might be like, even though I hate it so much and I don't want to go to work. You're thinking that, right? Shut your brain down. I'm so grateful I have a job. I'm so grateful I have that money from my job to pay my bills, because that makes me so grateful that I'm going to be able to transcend into the life I want, you know, whatever. And I'm so grateful for my health, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to remember to be grateful. If nothing else, like, I remember to be grateful. And like, I just wanted to remind my daughter of that.
And everyone out there, we almost every day together, even if it's just for 30 seconds, we'll express gratitude for each other, gratitude for the blessings or gifts or abundances in our life. And it really has made a difference. After doing it day after day after day for months and months, it does make a difference, and it does come back to you in the way of love and peace inside, to express to God, the universe, the source, whatever you want to call it, that you recognize and you are grateful for what you do have, rather than focusing on the lack of what you don't have. And this isn't a whole law of attraction kind of thing. It's
a building momentum thing, though, because if you're really upset, like I've been recently, because I'm going through some stuff, you know, and maybe crying and like feel like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself and nothing's comfortable and I feel like I'm going crazy. And if you can sink down into, I'm so grateful to know that I can just be grateful, because it will change my whole momentum. Like, when you stay in gratitude for even 17 seconds, you are completely changing the direction that your life is going. You're changing your momentum. And even if you can only do it for 17 seconds and then you cry some more, if you can remember to keep doing it, your next day you've created, your next hour you've created, moment by moment. Time isn't real. It's lighter, it's better. I love Esther Hicks and Abraham, and she said something so profound to me that I've really tried to stick with. When you're feeling so crappy and you can't find any good thought, go to one that's just a little less negative. And then maybe it leads to a little less negative. And then it's just kind of negative. And then it's just neutral. It's not positive or negative. And then it might be neutral for a couple of minutes, but then all of a sudden it's a spark of positivity. And before you know it, you've went from here to here to here to here. And then you're taken off in the right direction. And you will literally fake it till you make it, right? Don't you think you can fake it till you make it?
Part of the Esther talk that you're referencing was to keep it general also, that when you get bogged down in details or maybe this one terrible thing, like Winnie said, we've been going through some tough things, and if you focus on this one thing, whether it's good or bad,
which is really easy to do.
You're really looking at life through a pinhole.
Yeah.
When if you stop and take a step back and look at that huge, enormous, infinite picture, it helps things to align again. It helps things to even out, and it helps you to take those steps that Winnie just described of going back towards the positive slowly and little step by step. And don't think you can just fix yourself overnight or in one thought process or one meditation.
And another thing that Adam and I have been trying to focus on, and we've learned from a lot of awesome like mentors on YouTube, is that your brain works against you a lot of the time.
Most of the time.
And your body, excuse my French, is the bitch that follows what your brain says. Like any signal your brain sends, your body's like, oh, okay. So once you remember, like, or you have that, not a thought, it's a higher self thought, actually. It comes from your higher wisdom thinking, I'll call it.
Comes from your heart.
From your
and
heart.
It's a feeling. It's not a thought.
Okay, thank you. It's a feeling. So once you have that deep understanding and knowing and feeling from your heart brain's good, I'll use that. You're like, wait a minute. And what I've been doing is telling my brain 4 times, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. And then I take it somewhere else. And my brain will go into, what do you mean I'm fired? Like, last time we were in this situation, this happened. And remember 15 years ago, this happened. Like, your brain's only job is to remind you of how similar things, like how they ended. And it's so ridiculous. And once you realize that, you can start to reprogram it. Yeah. So this is some of the stuff we're working really heavy on.
You're going to have to edit this because it's going to be rambly, but I got to talk about Mike. He just popped into my head.
Yeah, okay, Mike.
So...
I love you, Lily.
We've had days, me especially, I've cried darn near the entire day. Just emotional release. I'm so grateful for it, and I've been able to finally let some of this heaviness that I've carried my whole life pass through me, deal with it for real, sober-minded, from my heart. Actually face it, turn and face it, not run away from it, and deal with it.
Learning to sit with yourself, right? Sit with the being of who you are. It's hard.
On the paper route, a few days back, I was having one of those days, and our very first stop, there's this guy just chilling, kind of loading up his pack, and you could tell that he was mobile, or whatever you want.
Home free.
Home free.
I don't like to say homeless. Home free.
I just could not resist, like, overwhelming urge not to do anything other than just to go and say hey and give him a hug. And so I went, and turns out that his name was Mike, and he has been all over this earth and served several tours in Vietnam and been diagnosed with every mental disease known to man, and his family pressured him to take medication that didn't make him feel well. And he's an artist, and he was just traveling through.
Such a cool dude.
Actually tried to give me a little shop back. He did give it to me that he had acquired, and was like, here, you should have this.
Adam was like, man, do you need anything? And he was like, no, but I really could use some water, right? So Adam came back to the car, and we gave him some water, and then Adam tried to give him money, and he didn't want your money, remember?
Right, he finally took enough money for a cup of coffee.
But
the most amazing part was
return.
The conversation and the depth of looking at this man in his eyes, having him look right through my soul into who I was, and there was an instant bond, an instant trust, an instant love of just, this is what it's all about. This is how we come together as, I'm not going to use the word collective, but as humanity, as part of being human beings.
Soul family.
And it was just so beautiful. I could almost cry thinking about it.
It was
This man gave me advice, and he gave me love. He gave much more to me than I ever could have given to him for stopping and just saying, hey, are you doing okay? Can I give you a hug?
He had the
Do you
most
need
beautiful
anything?
free spirit.
And so I just, I can't do it justice in this video clip, but I just wanted to share the experience, and maybe it'll trigger something in someone else. If you have an opportunity to just go up and randomly give someone a hug or say a kind word, trust me, you're doing more for yourself than it's almost selfish how good that is going to do you, more so than even the other person, but it does help them too, and it spreads joy to the world. It stops all this negativity and war and poverty and lack and fear dead in its tracks.
The news. It's
It
all
all
bullshit.
disappears in an instant
Yeah.
to that love.
Yeah.
And it can be shared between strangers.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and you don't have to go through training to do this. You can just do it.
Just push yourself. Like, when you feel the inspiration to do it, don't let your mind go through the, well, what if this and what if that and what if that and last time you did this. Like, shut it down. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And just do. Like, I have a catchphrase every day, like the last 9 days now, and today it was like, don't think, just do. You know, so like that's fitting.
Easier said than done. There's times where that, again, the brain just takes over, and you have to stop yourself and kind of be like, okay, I'm having these thoughts, and you can't fight them. The best advice I've heard from the different people and videos and just talking is to observe them and allow them to go through you. Allow them to pass through. And if you just allow them to go, I think it was you that reminded me the other day, you have that thought and you can be aware of it. When you let it go, it'll disappear, and you won't even know that it left. You won't know where it went, but it's gone. And
like,
all of a sudden, it's just
you'll feel them
gone.
coming on. It feels so bad. And you'll feel these negative thoughts coming on, and you'll think them. But where do they go when you stop thinking them? You can't find them. They just somehow leave. You don't ever think, oh, my thought's going away. Like, it's a beautiful thing, right? So if you can somehow turn that around when they start to hit you, that's the time to do it. But I feel like maybe we make a video and talk about all the life changes, but now is not the time. I really just felt inspired to come on here and tell everyone, you know, when you're going through a hard time, go to gratitude. Like, just try it. To try it even one time, where if you've been doing it and forgot, start again. Or if you're already doing it, then you already know it works. Like, just the least little thing you can think of and build from there. We did it half of our drive to work, and by the time we got here, I'm like goddess. Like, I'm like, no one can mess with me. I'm powerful. I'm creating my life, and I got this. And I'll lose it again, and I'll tell you why. Because this brain, this ego, is fighting so hard to regain control. But, you know, it's fired.
Yeah, and when you're at your lowest and you're hurting the most, that's when to do this stuff the most. That's when to be the most grateful.
And you won't want to do it.
That's when to give away the most.
Yeah.
When you're down to your last penny, give that penny away. Do not try to hold on to it. When you feel the worst pain you've ever felt, be grateful for the pain. And it will go away. It's
so
it's
bizarre.
kind of backwards, but we have been living this, and it's what's gotten us through to the point of being able to even make another video instead of just
dropping off the face of the earth. I think I've said everything I want to say.
I could keep going, but we can stop it and start another, so you don't have to edit for days.
Okay, so we love everyone who watches this, and, you know, I love my children, all of you, so much, and it makes me so happy that you check in with your mom on YouTube, and I just send you so much love and light and bliss, and just know I love you uncomprehendibly. I love you so much, and I love you all. I love you all, and we will make more videos, but it's going to be some real life stuff. You know,
this is true.
So, okay, bye.
Bye.